I need a favor. Meet me at the coordinates I sent you earlier.
You know, Jodes, you're the only client that has me cut his hair in weird places like this.
You know, Ollie, I'm the only client who pays you so much.
When's the last time you've seen her?
It's been a few months.
You want to see her?
I think it's been long enough. I've missed you. All right, it's official. I can drop a video saying I'm coming back for the 50th time just to disappear for another month.
That liar. So, Jodes, just to clarify, you want the usual, right?
Yeah, I still want the usual.
Dearest Joseph, every year you come to me to request the usual in order to expedite your travel back to Michigan. But with this comes a price. Your wayward spirit dissipates for months at a time, forcing me to analyze the dichotomy between your wants and your needs. Throughout my years on this earth, I have learned that the value resides not in the destination, but the journey. Absorb the life you live surrounding you. Breathe it in. Hold it close. It's fragile. A mere disturbance could rupture it entirely. I hope these words resonate with you, and I wish you the best on your journey. Sincerely, your friend, the barber. P.S. Your boxers were on backwards before I knocked you out.
Oh, Stu. Why would you write in pink Sharpie on a rock? I can't read any of this.
Been quite a while, but that cold open was pretty cool stuff, right? We're trying out some new things. I have Nalani Iosia from the MSU volleyball team with me right now. Nalani, one of the greatest players on the team. We're going to get into her in 1 second. I want to give a little bit of an explanation. I've been gone for 3 months, trying out some new things here. Going to be trying to wear a suit, make this a little bit more professional. Also realize that the old podcast kind of seemed like it was a little bit of acting, a little bit too much. Going to be a lot more natural now. 2 people talking. Very excited to see how it goes. Also going to start posting the clips a little bit more. It used to just be full long format. Now we're going to have some short format. I've been kind of a denier of TikTok for a long time, but I might have to finally go over, start posting on there. It's going against my own word, but that's the way the world's moving now. So now we have Nalani Iosia, number 1, the Libero for the MSU volleyball team. Nalani, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just excited to be here, excited to get into this interview, and excited that you're back.
I know, I'm happy that you're here. I'd rather have nobody else for the first episode back. Nalani, so far throughout the season, you've already won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, All-American for Under Armour coming out of high school, All-American for Max Prep. I'm pretty impressed to have you sitting across from me right now. How has your experience so far with the media been? How much would you say you have with that?
I think it's definitely been a long journey. I think in the beginning when I first started doing media, it was kind of hard for me because I didn't really have that much experience going into college with media interviews and things like that. So it's definitely something that I kind of got used to as I got the more experience going on with it, but it definitely wasn't a super easy process. But I think I just learned to be more natural myself. And I think that's kind of what makes me look forward to these things more, because then I can share my story, get to know other people at the same time, but also just have fun with it is the most important thing.
You've been playing volleyball since you were 6 years old. I watched that Spartans All Access. That was awesome. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more later.
Yeah.
But when they were interviewing your dad, he started saying when you're 6 years old, you're playing with 10-year-olds. I saw that when you were in middle school, you were practicing with the high school team already because your sister was on it. Since you've always been a little bit ahead of the curve, how has that affected how you view tough competition?
I think it's definitely helped me in many ways. I think when I was younger, I never really saw it as I was playing with the older girls. I kind of just saw it as I'm playing volleyball with other people. I kind of it never felt like something that was real to me. I was just having fun with it. Like it was just another day being able to go pass set. I was about to say bump set kill, and like that is just canceled anyways. Just like an opportunity to play with my family, my sisters, all my siblings. They all played volleyball, so it was just another chance to bond with them. But it definitely prepared me for moments like these, playing in the Big Ten, playing at the previous institution I was at. I think it just helped me never forget that the purpose that I play is for the passion, the love. That's kind of what drives me to be the best player that I can be. And just knowing that I've been doing this since I was 6 years old really just gives me the confidence boost that I need anytime that I feel kind of nervous or down or just lack of self-confidence sometimes. Just never forget where it came from and why I'm doing what I do.
So when you were coming out of high school, as I mentioned, named All-American, both Under Armour and Max Prep, and also you were going to one of the top institutions for volleyball. First year, you made the national championship. Having that much pressure to succeed and constantly improve on that success, how did that kind of affect your view of the game?
It honestly kind of aided it. It kind of pushed me towards how I've kind of just been waiting for this moment since I was a kid. I have just been around the game for so long. And sometimes I even think about how, like, I've literally been playing this for more than half my life. Like, I don't know, some people do hit kind of like a wall with it, and I think I kind of did after my sophomore year, but I think my freshman year was just nothing but good vibes, good experiences. It was just one of those moments where you kind of like deja vu, where you just feel like, is this really happening right now? Like, I was just getting so much love from all my friends and family, just saying how proud of they are of me, and just seeing how I was in a spot that my parents knew that I would get to was just so rewarding, and just like really just a dream come true, like, for lack of better words. Like, it really was. I was so grateful for that experience that I was able to have as a freshman. I think sometimes I never really think back on it and think like, wow, I was only a freshman. It was kind of one of those things where you live in the moment and you kind of just take it in and just still play the game that you love every single day. And I think, yeah, it was just definitely a top 10 experience for me that I'm glad I was able to go through.
Yeah, I was watching one of the post-game interviews, October 2020, and you said in it that you did not feel like any of it was real at that point.
Yeah.
You were just kind of living day by day, experiencing as it came. Also, in that same interview, I believe it was your first collegiate start Libero instead of defensive specialist. How was that transfer over when you first did it? Because I believe that you played Libero in high school, but then started out defensive specialist a little bit at the beginning of college. Is that right?
Yeah. So I was playing Libero for my high school career and club. And then when I got to my freshman year, I was playing defensive specialist. And then I kind of transitioned back into Libero. It was definitely it was more of a mental game for me. I think at that level, I never really understood how much pressure it actually was coming into college, but I had great supportive teammates that kind of talked me through the whole process along the way. It was definitely a lot of nerves, and I would talk to my parents and my siblings about it, but they just kept telling me, like, you are there for a reason. Like, everything that you've been working for is for this. So I just kind of had to take it like, this is just another game. This is just another opportunity for me to help my team, help us win. And I was ready for it. Honestly, I had a great time. Any chance that I had to help our team in any way, I was always down to do it.
Yeah, you've mentioned your parents a few times throughout this interview. Your dad was your first coach from what I saw. How was that relationship with him, because him being your coach, him kind of inspiring that love for volleyball? It's
been a roller coaster. I think at first it was hard for me to see it as he is encouraging, like, everything he was doing was for a reason. Because, like, when your parents are really hard on you as a kid, you kind of just take it like, okay, like my dad's my coach, and then I see him at home, like, there's no escape. Like, why is he so hard on me? But it definitely built my character to who I am now. Every time I look back on it, it was always for the better. He never let me settle for less. He never let me be comfortable with where I was at. He was always helping me chase my potential. Little did I know. And now he's still doing the same thing. He texts me after every single game saying, you guys need to work on this. You need to work on this. But it's definitely been one of the most stable relationships I've had in my life. I'm grateful every single day that he always constantly is spreading his knowledge of the game towards me and my siblings. So having that is just another blessing and privilege that I'm able to have.
Yeah, it's crazy how when you're a kid, you never realize that the reason they're pushing
Never.
you. Yeah, it's because they know you can do so much more than other people if they push you. And looking back on it, do you know the Thompson Twins from the NBA? Oscar and Amin, one of them just got drafted to the Pistons, one of them got drafted to the Rockets.
Yes, I saw that.
So they're talking about when they were kids, the workouts that they do every day. They run like 2 miles, dribbling a ball left-handed, and they do 200 push-ups, a bunch of different things like that that seemed almost impossible for an 8 or 9-year-old to do. But looking back on it, I'm pretty sure everyone wishes they did that type of stuff.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
could be professionally in the NBA if they did. And it's just so hard to really comprehend that when you're a kid. But
Yeah,
now
that
looking
is.
back, I guarantee that you're thankful every single day for
Oh,
that.
1000%. My dad would take me and my siblings to go run up random stairs at a random high school or college, and we'd have to wear these jump shoes. Have you ever seen jump shoes before?
I've not seen jump shoes.
It's like a weird concept, but like he would make us jump up the stairs with these jump shoes on, and the shoes were literally bigger than my whole body. Like it was just little things like that that kind of went a long way for me. When people ask me today, like, what workouts did you do to help improve this, that? And I would tell them, and they would look at me like a little suspicious. I'm like, yeah, those are the things my dad would make me do, like set with the medicine ball every single day. With my little brother, we were like only 8 years old, and the medicine ball was like 15 pounds, but it really helped me as a player now that I think back on it. But in the moment, for sure, I was like dreading it. I literally wanted to cry. But yeah, definitely not something that I would go back and change for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up an image on screen of those jump shoes. Those are not at all what I expected. I can't imagine wearing those 8 years old going up the stairs, dude.
Running across the track, like looking crazy. But hey, it turned out well. So
yeah, you're here now. When I was looking back, I went all the way back to August of 2018 for this one. Brian
Gimolero?
Gimolero,
Yes.
one very tough last name to pronounce.
Yes. He's a
Would not
legend,
have
though.
guessed it. Yeah, Brian Gimolero. I believe he was a coach for a
Long
college
Beach
team?
State for
Yeah,
a very long time.
That's
Yes.
awesome. But in that interview, you're kind of talking about the budding start of you being a leader. You kind of mentioned the fact that when you're out there, you're able to calm down the team, make them act as one unit, because if you're calm on there, everyone else can be as well. Now, you're the leader of MSU. You're kind of one of the most vocal people on the court, getting everybody in just a rhythm. How has that kind of evolved throughout the years? Because you don't just start out as a natural leader. You might have some tendencies that are natural leader things, but then eventually you build upon them and you become where you are now.
Yeah. Leadership has definitely been something that I've been working on for a while. I think when I came to MSU, Coach Johnson gave me a very big role that I did not think I was ready for. I even told her when she sat me down and told me that I was going to be a leader for this team, I said, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to step up to that. But she just explained how I would always say, like, I don't think I have the leadership qualities that a captain has, but she always told me that there are many different forms of leaders, and I just have to find one that fits my style, because I never wanted to be a leader that would kind of like fake their personality just so they can fit that leadership role. So I think trying to find a way where I was a leader in my personality was very hard for me, because there are times where I would think like, would a captain do this? Like, am I being a leader in this ways? But I think it's just goes back to like, I just have to stay true to myself. So being vocal is something that I think I've not really struggled with. Coming from a big family, I've kind of always had to be very vocal with what I want and just like with everyone around me. So I think that was something that I wanted to expand on as my leadership role. So having that be kind of the forefront and just using that to encourage my teammates and also just spread my experience with them too. Having a young team is a great opportunity for me to do that. And just having the support of my teammates and Julia, our other co-captain, is just amazing. I think they've really helped me fit into those leadership shoes a lot more comfortably than I thought I would. I honestly still get very hesitant about it sometimes, but just knowing that my team responds to me very well. So I think having that as the forefront of my goals and just knowing that everything that I do kind of is for the team is something that I love doing every single day. The fact that I have the ability on the court to just kind of just keep like our spark, just like our good vibes going. Because I know sometimes it gets very tense and sometimes we just have to remind ourselves that we play this every single day. The only difference is that there's a crowd and that there's another opponent on the other side of the net. But just like knowing that this is something we know how to do, and that if we just remember why we do it and remember the times that we have fun in practice doing it, is something that I think we forget sometimes. And I think we need that constant reminder of just like, let's go. Like, we do this every single day, guys. Like, there's nothing different. Like, let's just go out there and have fun and just show them what Michigan State volleyball is all about. It's something that we take a lot of pride in every single day.
Yeah, can definitely see the fact that you bring the energy. I'm from Boston, so I'm a big Celtics fan. If you ever watch Marcus Smart play, if you ever watch Marcus Smart play, he would be diving all over the court, just reaching out for every ball. You do the exact same thing in volleyball. I feel like that's a big part that brings up the energy, kind of being one of the dogs out there, willing to sacrifice for your team. Was that something you've always done, or that developed naturally throughout your game?
I think that's something that I've always been able to do, because in the end of it, I kind of just see ball, get ball. It's kind of one of those things where I love seeing people do diving saves, and I've always want to be like, I'm going to be that player. I'm not going to be that player that just lets the ball drop if it's even 30 feet off the net. Like, I want to be the one who is able to keep the ball alive and keep the mojo going. Because once you see one person go all out in effort, it kind of ignites that spark. Like, okay, like, she's here to work. Like, she is here to help us win. So just like being that person is something that I've always loved to do, especially in this role as libero. I think that's something that we take pride in a lot, and we're not afraid to go run into the bleachers, run into basically like the wall or anything. Like, it's just something that it's like an adrenaline rush, because like you don't feel anything. You just go and just try and keep the ball alive, which is so much fun. Some people might think like you're kind of insane for just throwing your body everywhere, but it's honestly a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's for the betterment of the team.
Yeah, exactly.
I've announced a few games for you guys so far, and you're talking about not being afraid of running in the stands a little bit. When you're sitting courtside, you get the full courtside experience at MSU volleyball. You might have players run past you, maybe even running into you for a second.
Or a ball literally just like jamming you in the face.
Coach Leah Johnson, as well as the assistant coaches, were a big part of bringing you here. How was that transition process of going from a different school, having to meet your teammates, become close to them? Because it seems like you guys are all pretty close now.
Yeah, we're very, very close. I love talking about my team because we're literally, I've never met a group of girls like them. They definitely keep you on your toes, but it's something that you really cherish, and you want to live in the moment with it. But sometimes you think in the future, like, you're not going to be around them every single day. And I'm very fortunate to have teammates like them and best friends to have on and off the court. But the transition was definitely very hard for me because I'm not really used to a lot of change, and just kind of the transfer process in general is a very like up in the air type of thing. You never know what's going to happen. And so, but I was just willing to take that risk, and Jake and Leah immediately showed interest, and then knowing who they were as people and the connections that they were able to make with me was just an instant grabber for me. I think the relationships they build with their players is something that not a lot of institutions can focus on that much. And I think they do an amazing job connecting with us as people more than players in a good way, just like to have that good balance and just knowing that we can go to them for anything and trust them with our process. So yeah, they definitely made it easier than I was holding on to. It was still a very hard decision for me because being away from home is something that's very hard for me, but knowing I would talk to my parents about it, they were 100% behind my decision to come here, and just knowing they knew that I felt comfortable with our coaches and just people that I could trust is one of the biggest things that I was looking for. And I think Leah and Jake, they did an amazing job showing that, showcasing that you're going to be treated more than just a player here is something that was amazing. And then the culture here at MSU in general is something that you can't turn your back from. So
your sister, she played at University of Hawaii. Now she's playing overseas a little bit. How has that kind of affected your view about your future of volleyball? Pro Volleyball Federation, League One volleyball, and there's a lot more avenues people can do. You can stay in the U.S. and play volleyball professionally. You don't have to go overseas.
Yeah.
What are your plans for that?
I love it. I plan on playing pro volleyball after my college career. I think I just love the idea of being able to travel and also being able to play the sport you love, and it's expanding in so many different ways. The fact that they're building more leagues in the United States is just more opportunities for people, even out of state, to just come and watch the game. And I think having her go through that process kind of just shows me and gives me a little insight of how the experience is. It's definitely not going to be easy, but it's definitely something that you're going to want to go through. And I think that's something that I'm really excited to go through. No matter where I end up, it's just going to be another amazing opportunity for me to keep playing the game that I love. And yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, what's so crazy about the development of those leagues is there's even a team in Grand Rapids an hour away.
Yeah, there is.
You don't have to leave your entire, even your state at this point. If you want to stay in Michigan even longer, you could. You go to Grand Rapids, play for the Rise. Yep. There's just so many different avenues, and I think that's huge to see. One thing I want to touch on a little bit, beginning of the season, Nebraska volleyball broke the record for attendance.
Yeah.
That's some awesome stuff to see.
That was insane.
Yeah, what do you think the future of volleyball at a collegiate level as a fan base would be? Because it's starting to build a lot of traction. It's one of the top stream sports for all colleges now.
I think it's just going to be constantly growing, honestly. Like you've seen with that Nebraska game, how the impact of volleyball has had in general, just on viewers, people who attended the game, people who watched the game. It's just constantly growing, and just seeing how this sport is just constantly on the uprise just gives people so much hope, and just kind of just like the satisfaction. Like all volleyball players know, like this is the attention that it's deserved for a long time, and the fact that people are finally tuning in and watching it and seeing how the game is played, how it's not just a game, it's like a craft. Like everything that is built into it is so unique and different than any other sport, in my opinion. May or may not be biased, but yeah, it's just awesome seeing how more people are being tuned into it, and just being more educated on it, and just spreading just for the world of volleyball and just women in sports in general. Just awesome to see.
Yeah, I think the entire view on the sport has changed completely.
Yeah.
Even 10 years ago, a lot of people would view it as something that you play at the beach, something that you kind of do
Yeah,
with your friends.
very
Now
casual.
Yeah, now it's getting the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
You guys are athletes. You put the same amount of work in. You've been working since you were 6 years old.
Yeah.
How has it felt just seeing some recognition finally come for the sport?
It's amazing. It's honestly just, you kind of get lost for words just seeing how many people it's drawn to this sport. Is just constantly growing. It's just a constant battle of just exploring this game, and just kind of just spreading. The awareness of it has gone up a lot, just with people like around, just like talking about volleyball in general, and being like, having volleyball being streamed in like restaurants now is just crazy to me. But it's really just bittersweet, just like seeing, for any sport in general, just seeing their growth go on the uprise is just amazing, and just showing that sports in general is just not going to be settled for what it is now. It's constantly going to be chasing their potential. And so that's just awesome to see, and I just can't wait to see how much it grows just beyond this year too.
Yeah, the landscape of sports changed completely the last decade.
No,
Baseball
really.
was considered a powerhouse, was considered the pastime in
Yep.
America for a while. It started to fall so much they had to add the pitch clock to make it a little bit faster pace. I think that's kind of one of the reasons volleyball has started to explode a little bit. It's so fast paced. There's constant action going on.
Yeah.
And there was a need for a new sport to fit in. I was seeing one of your interviews. It was from, I think, 2019, 2020. It was right at the beginning of when you were at college. And you're talking about how you're talking about how the speed of college volleyball compared to any other volleyball you played in your life, club volleyball, high school volleyball, it was about 10 times faster than that. How have you kind of slowed it down, or if it hasn't slowed down, how has that adjustment been?
It's definitely something that when I got to my freshman year, I was like, whoa, like this is happening very, very fast. But it honestly just came with experience, and just kind of breaking the game down slower than it actually is, kind of just focusing on just like the ball, where the ball is going one by one, just looking at the ball setter, ball hitter, something that we kind of really emphasize in our gym. And just our offense is pretty fast too, so we kind of want to impose that same will. But so it was definitely very hard, but I think slowing it down ball by ball, player by player is something that has really helped me personally, because it can be a lot when you kind of see the game as a whole. But I think breaking it down piece by piece is something that really helped me see the game in a slower pace, but at the same time being able to react pretty fast to what was happening. It was really just a mindset for me, because in the end of it, you can't do anything to slow your opponent down. So I think it was something that I had to figure out on my own, and it's different for everyone. Some people like to see the game as a whole, but I think for me, seeing it piece by piece and just breaking it down slower really helped me with my vision and just like my volleyball IQ in general.
Do you have any techniques just to stay in the moment in the game? Because when there's so much going on, it's easy to just get distracted by one thing. Maybe it's in the crowd. Maybe you're just thinking about something that happened earlier in the day. How do you stay in the moment for such a fast-paced game where you need to be in the moment every single play?
Yeah. I think this is something I've kind of had naturally. It just comes back to like the love and passion I have for the game. Every single time it's game day, I'm literally so pumped throughout the day. Like I really just can't wait, even just practice. Like sometimes it may not seem like it, but I'm always so excited for practice and just being able to play volleyball still. And the fact that I still have that same love and passion is something that I'm really grateful to say. And I think that helps me stay in the moment, because I'm constantly chasing like, okay, like we got the point, like when's the next point going to happen? Just like constantly being able to fight for every single point. And it's kind of just like an adrenaline rush the entire time, being able to just stay locked in for every single play, win or lose. I think it's just the experience that I'm always grateful for, and just seeing how, even if it's a big crowd, like they're here to watch some good volleyball.
Yeah, did you ever have any fears from having to perform in such a large crowd, or have you kind of been used to that? Because even since high school, you're in one of the top programs. You've kind of always been surrounded by the best of the best.
Yeah.
Is it something where you naturally didn't have stage fright, or was there a little bit where you had to overcome that?
I think it was definitely an overcome type of thing. It was kind of more so the buildup of it was a lot for me, just like knowing that there's going to be tons of people there, especially my freshman year. I think the buildup of it was a lot, just like pregame jitters. But once I got on the court and like the whistle was blown, like it was all of that just left. Like I was just able to hone in on what was happening at the exact moment. But there are still times, like I still get nervous before games now, but like once it's game time, like it's game time. Like I'm able to just lock in and just be able to just play. So yeah, it's definitely something that has come with a lot of experience, but once you just like focus in on like what you do every single day, it gets kind of easier getting used to that environment and experience at the same time.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's a little bit of second nature for you at this point. As you said, we've talked about many times, 6 years old. That you've been playing since you've been conscious at this point.
Yeah.
It's basically just a second mode for you to go into.
Yeah.
Was there somebody that you modeled your game after at any point? Was there just a sister that you modeled it after? Because obviously they have all played volleyball. Or was it somebody who was professional? Or how did that kind of come across?
It was mainly my family because I was surrounded by them a lot. I think as I got older, there was a lot of great volleyball happening in my club. The current national team libero, Justine Juan Orantes, was played at my club, and she started off as a setter and then transitioned to libero, so we kind of had that in common. But I think I've been able to see her and watch her grow. I think that's who I've kind of modeled myself after now. And just being so close to her as a person, she was also one of my coaches in club. Seeing how she has gone so far with this sport is something that I really admire. But I think as I was younger, it was definitely my siblings, and both of my sisters were one of my role models, and my parents. I'm a huge family person, so looking up to them was something that I kind of did by second nature, and just seeing their constant determination and grit is something that I really looked up to as a kid. And I kind of just been able to grow within myself. And I mean, I still do. I look to them for advice every single day because I know they've been through the same things that I have. So it's just nice having them there still after all these years to help me grow through my game and just grow as a person.
You talked about how your dad after each game will text you a little bit of critiques, what you guys can work on. A little bit hard to get out of that coaching mode, I imagine.
Yeah.
With your sisters, with your brother, how does that kind of advice work? Do you just give them calls, kind of catch up, or do they randomly reach out to you after watching your game, or how is that relationship?
Normally I'll call them after my game. I'll just FaceTime them, and I already know like what they're going to say. It's always just something different every single time. But I know they're always tuned in, so I always know that they'll have something to say. So I normally call them after the game. I call them every single day. My dad just normally texts me because he knows that I don't want to hear it in my ear at that certain time. But when it's with my sister, it's more so just like normal conversation. We'll talk about it for a brief second, but then we'll just catch up with everything else. But yeah, definitely having a volleyball family comes with its perks, but at the same time, they'll always have something to say after one of your games.
Yeah, there's sometimes I imagine you get out, I just want to go lie down, not talk about the game for a little bit, and then you're hearing from 5, 6 different people about it.
I'm just like, okay, guys, I understand. I was at the game too. I was playing.
So one of the biggest developments throughout the last few years of collegiate volleyball, athletics, all that stuff has been NIL. I saw there was a little bit of a shop. Anyone who wants to go out there, buy a number 1 Nalani Iosia shirt.
Yes, it is in my Instagram bio, msu.nil store. Go cop some merch.
Yeah, so how has that development affected you throughout this? It gives you a chance to actually share your image, have control of it instead of it being owned.
I think it's awesome. I think being able to build your brand and just being able to share a part of you that not everyone may know. Like some people take this chance for merch to just share a part of them, and just seeing how that can affect people's outlook on the sport in general, just like constantly growing. As we've mentioned before, like sports is just going in a completely different direction than it was like 5 years ago. So I think NIL is a perfect opportunity for people to show others that this is more than a sport. Like we stand for something, like it's personal, like there's something that we are here to not only play for, but just to build on. And just seeing how that is just something that people have, not a lot of people understand, but I think it's something that people can't understand as it grows. Like NIL is growing every single day, like the amount of brand deals that people get, and just being able to reach out to companies and just being able to share yourself, like, hey, like I'm part of this team, and I would be interested in just being a part of your business or company, and just having that connection just kind of prepares us for the real world outside of sports, and building those, and just networking itself is just, I think it's a perfect opportunity that some people take for granted of how it's going to affect us in the future. But it's definitely a tool that I've been able to use to help me prepare myself for that.
I'm going to have to step away from the mic real quick. But for the first episode back of the sophomore season for me, as my first guest, I have a special treat for you.
Oh, gosh.
I don't have any NIL deals, but I do have my own merch brand at Points. And this is one of the last Michigan State color green sweatshirts that I have left.
No
and I'd like to give it to nobody
way.
else besides you, Nalani.
No.
And keep that, wear that with pride. Remember that you always are on this.
I'm going to wear this for our game day today against Michigan, just as a good luck charm. This is awesome. Yes, the Joe Des Hour is back in session.
Exactly. With
and
Nalani
better than
Iosia.
ever. Let's go.
Exactly. A whole new wave, hopefully a whole new era of this show.
Heck
and
yeah.
I'm excited to see how it goes. I hope that you wear that with pride, Nalani.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. And so throughout the matchups that you have coming up, there's going to be a lot of competition.
Mm-hmm.
The season has started out very bright. What's kind of just the mood so far throughout this?
Yeah. I think there's just a different mindset that we have this year. It's kind of the constant chase of hunger, and just the constant chase of winning is something that we've been trying to build in our own gym. And I think day by day, game by game, we are able to kind of learn that and feel that. We're being constantly tested every single day in practice, in games. And I think it's just showing that we're here for the battle, and we're here for the progress that's along the way. But at the same time, there's just a different vibe that we have that just shows that we are not settling for anything less. And I think that's kind of something that we are constantly battling, and something that you'll see as each game goes on. Win or lose, we're constantly battling, and we're constantly chasing that next win, chasing that next victory. With the group of girls that we have now, it's just that same mentality that I think spreads across the board.
With that mentality, you kind of have to stay hungry. There's never a point where you can relax. How, when you get into the mid-season, because volleyball season is pretty long, to be quite honest, multiple months. When you get to that mid part where it feels like you might be able to plateau a tiny bit, you're still winning games, but it's not the same feeling as the beginning or the playoffs.
Definitely.
How do you stay focused on the game instead of just kind of detaching from it a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say like you just kind of push your way through it, because it's more than that. It's kind of leaning on each other at that point, because I know it gets very easy to get internal about it and be like, okay, like I'm mentally and physically drained. Like we've been doing this every single day for the past 5 months. Like when is it going to end? But I think we've done a better job with kind of being where our feet are is kind of something that we've been talked about as a team. And I think leaning on each other is something that we do a lot. We kind of just don't let each other fail. That's something that our coach kind of emphasizes a lot. And I think once you see someone get in that kind of like mood of just like being kind of worn out, it's like a constant like, all right, like we gotta go. Like we don't have time for that. Like it's definitely not something that you fully like push back on. Like thought is always going to be there of like, okay, like this is draining, but it's something that you kind of have to put on the back of your mind and just say like, that's not what our standard is every single time. That's not what MSU volleyball is going to go back to or fall back on. Like we're constantly going forward. And it's definitely been a battle. I think after preseason, it's a long mental and physical drive. And I think once season starts, we kind of all get that adrenaline rush, but definitely towards the end of it, we kind of get in like, okay, like we've been doing this for a super long time. But I think that's when the best part starts, because that's when teams show that they are here for a reason. They're here to win. And I think we're one of those teams that this year that we're not going to get into that slump. We're always going to be chasing that winning feeling, because we've been doing it since season ended last year. We're constantly chasing it. We're going to be 1% better every single time. So I think we're prepared for those moments. Pushing through the hard is something that we've had a lot of experience and tests throughout this preseason and in season. So I'm excited to see our progress.
It's really easy to keep the energy up at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It's, as you mentioned, at the end of the season and the mid-seasons where you find out what teams are really going to keep that energy going and which ones really want to be there at that point. You were mentioning leaning on your teammates a little bit. Is there any teammates in particular that you have that relationship with where they push you while you push them?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of mutual between all my teammates. I think we all push each other in different ways, whether that's communicative or it's just playing in general. Like me and my other position groups, like we're pushing each other every single day, constantly encouraging each other to be better. And just even our setters, we have a great relationship with everyone where we can tell each other and just help each other up by encouraging them, and just spreading our wisdom with each other is something that we do very good as a team. I'm able to lean on anyone on my team and be like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, how can we do better? How can I help other people on the court? And it's just a simple conversation that we're able to have. I think I lean on my position group a lot with Avery, Kai, and Jalen. I think we do a really great job of seeing the game through a passer's view constantly. Every time we're in our position groups, we always talk about things that we can do for our hitters, things that we need to do better to set our team up for success. And having that within our position groups, I know it goes to the same for middles, hitters, and setters, that we're all able to kind of give each other that feedback that we need on and off the court. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, you just came back from Connecticut.
Yeah.
You have to just travel constantly for this team.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect your day-to-day life?
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, it does get a little draining sometimes, just because you're gone for, like, this past weekend we were gone for 4 days. And just as a senior going through this, like, year by year, it does get a little draining at times, but it's also just another fun opportunity we have a lot of freshmen on the team. Like, this is some of their, like, first travel trips. So just knowing that they're being able to experience that kind of makes me enjoy the experience a lot more. But I think it's something that you kind of just get used to, knowing that you're going to be gone for 4 days and you won't be back till Monday. You'll leave maybe Wednesday and you're gone all the way till Sunday. It's just something that you kind of get used to as an athlete. But it's something you get to look forward to. Like, we do team activities every time we go and travel somewhere. We go to Illinois this past weekend, and we're just going to walk around Champaign, Illinois. So it's definitely a great experience to have, just being able to travel and just play at the same time. Yeah, it does get very draining, but, like, it's also fun. Like, I don't really know how to explain it in, like, detail, but it's definitely, like, a great opportunity. But yeah, sometimes I just want to be in my own bed.
Well, it's huge as you get to see so much of the country just through playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a beautiful thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
You're from Long Beach, California. Just came back from Connecticut, west to East Coast. What's real
It's crazy. Like, I never
wild.
thought I'd get that far in the world.
Big Ten with the expansion. It's really messed up that right as you're about to finish up your senior season, they had UCLA, USC.
Yeah.
You would have been able to visit home a little bit throughout the season, and that's kind of how it always works, it feels.
I always think about like that. Like, I get so pissed that, like, finally when I'm here, and then, like, of course they're going to add these two teams that are literally 10 minutes away from my home. But okay, that's besides the point.
You've seen all the stuff with CU Boulder, Deion Sanders. Imagine graduating last year, having to see The Rock come to your campus, Quavo on your campus.
Lil Wayne. They
Wayne.
literally had Lil Wayne walk them out of their tunnel, and then they had The Rock in their pregame huddle. Like, what more of, like, an adrenaline rush can you get? Like, that was crazy. I love seeing it. It was all over my TikTok For You page, and, like, I was talking to my teammates about this yesterday. Like, Deion Sanders is constantly on my TikTok page with, like, his pregame speeches. Even just, like, his interviews are, like, so, like, motivational. Like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, like, I got that dog.
Spartan All Access interview. I love what they do with that type of stuff.
I love that. Like, I did not expect that. Just seeing and then watching other people's All Access is just like, whoa. Like, they're able to get people's stories in so many different perspectives and just, like, still be able to deliver the story as if, like, that was yours. Like, I just love watching people's All Access videos because it, like, gives me chills. And, like, every time I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I literally know your life, like, from that video. But I literally love Spartan Vision for that.
How was the experience on your end? They got your dad involved. They got all the childhood pictures in there.
Oh my gosh, I was a little nervous when they said they wanted to interview my parents, because my parents are not great big interview people. So I know having them do that was a lot. Like, I had to text them. I was like, hey guys, you guys might have to do a little interview. They were like, okay. They, like, Terrace brought, like, a whole setup outside of Jenison, and they were like, you told me this was a small interview. And I was like, yeah, it might be a little bigger than you think, but it was good. I think my parents actually loved it, and I was like, okay, see, I told you guys, like, it wasn't going to be that bad. But I think my dad loved being able to talk about the sport of volleyball because he's been around it his entire life. So I'm glad he was able to share that and just share. And then seeing them, how they, like, talk about me, they never talk about me to me. So seeing how they were, like, kind of gassing me up. I was like, oh my gosh, like you guys have never like told that to me before. But like it was an amazing experience all around.
That's one of the aspects of your parents being hard on you when you're younger is you never get to see them be proud of
Never.
you.
And I'm just like, okay, guys, like you guys could slip this in here and there. Like it's not gonna be bad.
I don't know if you've ever seen the HBO show Winning Times. It's
I
about
don't think I have.
it's about the LA Lakers, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, their dynasty, and how it started. Just got canceled season 2. I was heartbroken. I love that show. It's so sad, but real messed up. But
I hate when they do that.
yeah, it's terrible. It's so sad. You get attached to the character, attached to the show.
And they're like never coming back again. And I'm like,
Exactly.
okay.
It shows Magic Johnson's mom being a little bit hard on him, and he thinks, wow, this means that she does not like me. She kind of hates me and is never proud of me. And then when he steps away, it shows the fact that all the time she's bragging about him. I imagine that's how your parents are in real life with you. When you're not there, they're talking about you all the time.
Yes, because sometimes my friends' parents will like tell them what they say about me, and then my friends are obviously going to tell me, and I'm just like, you guys literally talk to a completely different version of parents than like I'm used to. But like I know like they're just like all about tough love, which I understand. So it's like kind of funny seeing how they are just like completely different when they talk to other people about me. But like even when they do compliment me, sometimes it's kind of like a weird feeling like, whoa, like is this real right now? Like, are you guys okay? Because you just gave me a compliment. But it's funny every single time we try and bring it up, like as siblings, like, Mom, Dad, why didn't you guys ever like say something like encouraging to us? And they're just like, like go clean your room or something like that. But it's so funny.
So you said that him and his siblings were born and raised in America Samoa. Was that, you think, a big influence in the way that they raised you, pushing you to just succeed and reach for more?
Yeah, definitely. I think they were self-taught a lot. So I think he brought that trait onto our family values, just seeing that there's a lot of stuff that we have control of and that we can basically do anything if we do it ourselves. And kind of, it was more of like an individualized approach that he set out on us. And I think I'm kind of used to doing a lot of things on my own. And so kind of bringing that into like a team aspect and a leader has been kind of hard, because sometimes I think about how I was able to, or I was kind of like forced to kind of like figure stuff out on my own for like the better of myself, and just how that's just how my family worked. Like we were constantly go-getters in our own, kind of like our own world. But like trying to use that as a team is kind of hard for me at sometimes, because I get kind of stuck in the mindset of like, oh, like people will push through it like on their own. But then I realize like slowly as a leader, like you need to be there for people, and like not everyone goes through that same experience. So you kind of have to find ways to kind of like build people up in the right ways to where they can see that they have so much more potential than they have. Like especially with a young team, I think it's very important to constantly build up that confidence in other people to kind of develop their own way of self-thinking. And that's something that my dad did a really good job on, even though at times I would be completely lost by myself. But like I was able to push through it in the end, and I was there to, I was able to rely on my siblings. So that was really helpful. So kind of like being there for my teammates right now is something that I've been working on, and kind of building that as a leader has been hard. But
Double check.
Yeah.
Last year, you had plenty of awards. You got the Auto Owners MVP for that tournament there. That was actually my first day on campus. I was announcing for you guys. Yeah, I thought I would tell you about that. That was the first connection I had here. I moved in one day. Next day, I was announcing for you guys, and that was my first ever experience announcing in college.
Wow, it was meant to be.
Exactly.
Look at that.
And now we finally got you in here, Nalani.
Been hooked ever since.
I'm hoping one day. There's a possibility. After college, I'm either going to try going G League or I'm going to try going college basketball. But if I don't do either of those, I might see you in the PVF, or I might see you in League One.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I have to have a reconnection there. I think that would be awesome.
For sure. And guess what? I'm going to be wearing the sweatshirt.
I would expect nothing less. Well, Nalani, thank you so much for coming on. Before I let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to give some shout-outs to, anyone some special thanks throughout their support for your journey to this point?
Oh, wow. There's so many people I would... definitely my coaches, my coaching staff. Our support staff is amazing, from Shane to everything he does to our trainers, Casey, Bill. We have one of the best support staff that I could probably ever imagine. And then my teammates, of course. I literally love them so much, even though I don't show it sometimes. But I truly appreciate how they're there for me every single day and how we're able to lean on each other. And of course, my parents, my family. Love you guys. Thanks for supporting me since day one. And yeah.
there any things that you want to kind of just give some promotion to? Is there anything for NIL that you want to give promotion to? Your Instagram, Twitter, anything like that?
I have a merch line in my Instagram bio. That's about it. And yeah, tune into some women's volleyball, guys.
Whenever I post this episode, it should be the next few days. I probably won't get up before the Michigan matchup. I will include some type of link to hopefully the Big Ten stream for your next game. I'm excited to see how it goes. The rest of the season, Nalani, I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck. I'm excited to see where this team goes. This has been episode 29 of the Jodez Hour. Seems we're not fully out of practice. A little bit rusty, you could say, but we are back officially. Hopefully it won't be another 3 months before I see you all again. I will see you in the next episode of the Jodez Hour, episode 30. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.